All right. Welcome everybody. Hope for the Americans, everyone had a good Thanksgiving break. I'm just gonna double check my settings here. Yep, all good to go. How's everyone doing? Glad to hear you're doing well, Pinkster. So I'm flying solo again today. Team's a bit busy, all kinds of various reasons. We're going to continue where I left off last time. For those who weren't on the stream last time, I started this character called Eevee. Decided to go Hawker, probably a Raider in the end, and was just exploring the new changes in the level caps, right? So we compressed the level 1 to 250, to 1 to 100, and just taking a look at how the game plays, the different levels, picking up quests and that sort of thing. So today I just want to continue from 25, level 25. Last time it took us just shy of 2 hours to get from 1 to 25, which maybe is a little fast, seemed a bit reasonable. I want to see if that drops off. We'll play through and see where that goes. And as usual, I'll try to keep an eye on the chat and see if anyone has any questions or that kind of thing and answer them as I go along. In terms of where we're at, I already see a question about what getting playing here and that sort of thing. Basically, the alpha tester application is practically ready. We need to do a couple more editing passes, but I'm anticipating we'll have that out, in the next few days, sometime this week. So we will have the alpha application out. Anybody who's interested in helping us with the alpha, anybody can apply. We'll leave it open for maybe 2 weeks or so. We want to give people enough time to get to it. I know people have all kinds of lives. If they're traveling or working or that sort of thing, they might not be able to get to it. So we want to give people some time to fill out the application. And then once we've collected the applications, we'll review them and we'll kick off alpha testing. So our target is to do that in December. So our target is to do the alpha testing in December. And I'm hoping, once the alpha kicks off, we can start including some of our alpha testers in these streams. Or if we have any particularly motivated alpha testers, one of the alpha testers can run a stream. So we'll see where that goes. Besides that, no major update. The team has been working on stuff for the alpha, so not really a lot of visible changes. There's one quality of life item that made it in that I want to show off that was added by %1. I think it's neat. Kind of makes you think, why wasn't it in the game before? But it's a small little change, but I think it's cool. And then other than that, we're just going to continue. All the changes are in the back end for like running the server and cheat management and stuff like that. So nothing visual on that front. Without further ado, I don't see any big questions. There's one question from All Zoom asking why we don't re-release Iros and why we're going with Evo. It's a question I answered many times. I'm pretty nostalgic for Iros. That's the version I played for the most. But I think it's important to recognize that Evo brings a lot to the table, and it's a good game, right? It's a good version of the game. It just needs some love, and so we're gonna continue from there. But we're gonna make some changes because I think some things aren't good. And if you want to go back and check out the streams, you can see all the stuff I've done. So, okay, yeah, one more question before I kick off here. There was a question about translations. Yeah, the Rose supports localization. I've actually had a few people reach out to me about wanting to translate Rose into their language. I would love that. I think that'd be amazing, and there is support for it. Some things are a little bit not as supported, like for example, some of this text here might be part of the UI, but other than that, most things can be translated, and I think it'd be great to have community translations added to the game. So we want to support that. It's just a matter of how do we set up the processes and stuff like that. So let's kick off here. The goal today is I want to see in about an hour and a half how the level is at this range, starting at level 25. Just to remind you guys, I went Hawker. Basically, all I've done is dump Dexterity. As you know, because we changed the level range, I have a lot more Dexterity at this level than normal. Makes me a little bit stronger. Makes the leveling a little bit easier. So far, I've enjoyed. I haven't felt weak or anything like that, so it's been good. Leveling has been a bit fast, but we'll see if that drops off or not. In terms of skills, I've mostly been doing passives, attack speed and dodge rate passive, and I have one active skill. And then I've been trying to up my dodge rate a little, and I was planning to get this passive. So that's just kind of where we left off. And yeah, I'm in Breezy Hills, and I have some quests. Got a little bored of Zant, so I'll probably go back and finish these. But right now, I'm hunting Pomic infiltrators. I need to find these infiltrators. Zoom, yeah, I think everyone is partial to the version of Rose that they played. I think Evo is a pretty good version. We do agree that the pay-to-win elements ruined a big part of the game, and so as we said before, we will not be adding pay-to-win to this game. Our item wall will be entirely cosmetic. Maybe like tiny quality of life improvements or something like that, but definitely no pay-to-win elements. On that note, I need to find Pomic infiltrators. I want to drop the anti-aliasing a little bit here because it's getting a little bit lag. Oh, here's an infiltrator. Fingster, different resolutions we plan to support. I've actually done that before. I can make the code support different resolutions. Increasing the refresh rate's a little bit more complicated. The engine is built in a way that's a little trickier, but that would be great. Unfortunately, I think it would require a lot of engine changes, so I'm not sure we'll be able to do it immediately. Eager Dupe is asking if we'll have a follow option, like being able to follow a player automatically and that sort of thing. I personally don't like the follow option. I think things like cart, seats, or having been able to invite someone to sit on your mount with you, I think makes more sense rather than a follow option. It seems more rosy to have like someone sit on your cart. I remember when car seats were first added in pre-UO. It was pretty fun to like drive around with people on your car. Yeah. Sam is asking about where to find information about the test server. There's going to be an application. We're going to announce it on Discord and on all our social media. So there's like a little blurb on there that explains more details about what the alpha testing is when you fill out the application. And then if you get accepted, then of course an account will be made for you and you'll get access and that sort of thing. Nimro is asking, do we still think we will be able to support custom UIs? Definitely. There's really only a minor technical reason why we wouldn't be able to. And once we turn on that option, then we definitely would be able to support custom UIs. And I think that'd be really cool. Mr. Burns is asking, will there be custom hotkeys? So we want to make all the keys rebindable. I have started on that work. I'm not sure when it will land. So being able to remap every action, every key is important for us. And it's already in progress. I'm going to run to an NPC. because I have too many items. I want to sell them. And I'm on my dev account, so it gives me a bunch of random things when I join. So we'll go check out lagging still. Let me drop some more settings. My computer's feeling it today. Will we increase the attack animation, make it slightly faster? Do you mean attack speed? When we compress the levels, I've noticed that it's less less of an issue than attack speed. I do want to do some more testing on a Borg with a launcher, because I definitely feel that blast attacks really slowly. But we have a discussion with the team right now about attack speed and that sort of thing. Alright, so now I did mention there was one quality of life feature we implemented. This %1 added it. It's pretty simple, but I got tired of having to do this every time I want to sell some stuff, right? So we just added it. If you hold shift, you can put in a whole stack into the window, you know? It makes it easy to dump all your junk. Clear out everything. I know I'm selling some good stuff here, but don't care. Will there be castle gears? Of course. Actually, one thing that really bums me out is that castle gears since release never really found. I'm just gonna grab this quest. They never really found their stride. Like, they were cool looking, but they were just visual, and you know, you never really used them for anything. So more quests here. Okay, help with that. Okay, another quest. See. Oh, I probably should read these one time. Yes, how can we repopulate? Yes, I'll help with that. Alright. Currently my account is in premium status. So I received 30% more experience and 15% more drops. That's a good observation that actually I have the XP boost on with this. I probably should have disabled the premium status for this testing, but I think I can still get a good idea of the leveling range. I think we do want to keep some kind of premium account. You know, not everybody is going to want a premium account, but I think it'd be a nice way if people want to support us more regularly, they can have a premium account and get some perks. I know on the premium account you can like access storage from anywhere, you know, something like that. We talked last time about like the vending shops where you can step out of them and things like that. I think that could fit under the umbrella of a premium account. So it's definitely an option, and we'll probably keep it around in some form, but we haven't really put too many ideas or plans into the premium accounts or anything like that. MBS, yeah, the level cap will be 50 for alpha testing. Eventually, the final level cap will be 100, but 100. But we haven't rescaled all the mobs yet to do so. So once we do that, then then we can remove that level. I'm glad everyone likes the quick sell feature. Honestly, I was getting so irritated selling stacks of stuff all the time. Yeah, I'm a little tempted to fight this guy, but after the Whoopee King experience, I got a bow. I think this guy would destroy me. Maybe I can try this Pomic General. He looks tough. So I don't know if you guys noticed, leveling kind of did slow down a little bit once I hit 25. I was pretty aggressive. Yeah. I'm out here. I had a soul crystal. Now I don't. So maybe I'll try to focus on quests. Infiltrators, I don't know where they spawn a lot. Windmills. I don't know how to. You know, I've been playing this game so long, I don't know how to pronounce that. Is it Flane? I always call them Flane. We'll never know. Actually, I used to call Junon Hunan. I don't know why, it just sounded better in my mind. We will never know. Alright, this is just kill any Palmex. Okay, nice. Don't know where these turbines go. That would be interesting to find out. If there's any kind of indicator about where to put them. Maybe up on a hill or something. Find out. Yeah, I think, you know, there's some things we can put under a premium feature. Not like XP boost and drop boost. Actually, you know what's really bad is that the XP and drop boost from premium is built into the code. That's why we haven't removed it yet. We have to change the calculations. It's really annoying. But we'll remove it. So from, you know, our perspective is like premium might have a couple of like niceties. You know, maybe storage or like remote storage, stuff like that. It won't be required to play the game. And then the item mall would be like cosmetics, or like visual things or just minor things that you want to buy it that way. Shidoy is asking, he needs material to ask about Linnox's suffering. Well, I can give you a little insight. So Garnet and Linnox have been working on a tool that was built, I think, by the original Triggersoft devs. It's called C-Tool, and it's a way to edit like character data, monster data, and things like that in one tool. It was it's terrible. Not terrible, but the code was terrible. It uses some things that were deprecated about 11 years ago in Visual Studio, and so he spent almost 2 weeks now just to compile it, fix it up. And you know, him and Garnet, they were like pulling hairs to get that compiled. So that's the kind of stuff we've been working on, getting things up so that if we want to edit, you know, if we want to edit this NPC, for example, change an animation, add some effects, things like that. So those poor guys have been struggling with that tool, but they got it working. We've got it built. We've got it integrated into our build system. So they're moving on now to cleaning up some things in the map editor. So those guys are crushing it. They're doing a great job. %1 is doing some interesting work on the database. The game is designed to run with SQL Server database, and he's done some experiments, and it seems to be that we can port it over to a different database. That's going to be very good for us. Make it easier for us to maintain and add features and that sort of thing. Rebus is asking, with the level change, do we plan to have more zones overlap in levels? So yes, I think that's would be an ideal. You know, just because you're in Breezy Hills doesn't mean there can't be like a level 50, just a little zone here or there. I think it's great to have people coming back in old zones and things like that. And I don't know, you know, if you've played Rose a lot, you'll know that it doesn't take many people in one area to make it difficult to level or farm. So having some more places that you can go, I think is going to be crucial, right? If you have one area, it's easy for it to get kind of overwhelmed. If like even just like 10, 15 people show up in an area, it can feel crowded, right? So I think diversifying the leveling locations, even if they're small, like let's say, for example, we come up here, and on this hill, instead of having flanes, whatever these are, flanes, instead of having these red things, you know, like this seems like a good spot to have some higher level monsters. A little isolated from the rest of the map. A low level is not going to come here by accident, right? They'd have to purposely walk up. And you could have, you know, a couple spawns up here. You know, enough to fit, I don't know, 4 people, 5 people leveling at the same time, right? Like, that's cute, right? You can have like a little level 50 monsters here. That's kind of what we're envisioning. So so yeah, I was trying to remember the question I was answering. Yeah, that's our idea, Rebus. Like, and that's part of why we're putting the level cap at 50, because we need to rework the mobs, and then when we rework the mobs, then we can, you know, edit the map. So that's what Linux and Garnet are working on right now. They're working on the map editor, cleaning up some things, so then we can start actually doing things like that. It works, but there's some edges. Yeah, calling it a Hunan is my that's my Texasisms. Honeybuns, you make a good point. I actually don't like the current storage feature. You know, the old system is you have a certain amount of slots and a certain amount of pages for each kind of category. I think one thing I've been planning for a long time that I never had a chance to work on before is that I think the mall shouldn't be pages and slots. Or sorry, the storage shouldn't be pages and slots. It should be one unlimited storage. And then to prevent it, to kind of add some depth to the game, right? Like instead of it being limited by pages, I would limit it by weight, for example, right? So like you can only store, I don't know, 1,000,000, whatever this unit is, right? Kilograms of worth of items in here, and then if you get some kind of item that can expand it, or if you have premium, maybe you have unlimited, something like that. So I think it'd be a good usage of this weight mechanism, right? The only time I've really seen it been a problem is when you carry a lot of bullets. Other than that, this like the weight of an item doesn't really matter. So I think it'd be nice to use that in something like that. Destrega is asking if we want to do merchandising. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have like T-shirts or something like that. You know, our biggest challenge is gonna be finding. I need to go buy some stuff. What is this? Even healing me. Finding somebody to help us on the merchandising side, and then coming up with the merchandise. Right now, we're working on redoing the logo. You know, the NA Rose logo is nice, but that's for a different version of the game, for the previous version of the game. So we want to start branding our own version. And so then, once we kind of solidify our brand a little bit, then I think that would be cool. If you or anybody know anybody who does merchandising and that sort of thing, I'd be happy to talk to them. Right. I'm just going to go somewhere to buy some. Oh wait, I could have gone in this village. Hey, going back. Gotta get some fruit. Losing too much HP. Rebus is asking, the main way to populate the world is to have shared zones between high and low levels. Do we also want to encourage leveling characters? That's the main way, yeah, so that you know you are incentivized to go to a different zone. I personally want to redo all the drop tables. I don't like the current drop table. Like you can get practically anything at any time, so there's no incentive to go to a specific area for a specific kind of drop. If you're familiar with the changes, I think it was Leonis or was it Genesis? One of those guys made. They did this tiered drop system, so you had like uncommon, common, rare, legendary, and whatever, and every mob had a chance to drop from each of its categories and things like that. But I think it's just too many drops from every mob, and it doesn't really make any zone or mob special. So I want to redo that so that you know you are encouraged to go to a new zone or to go back to a zone because you need a specific material, that's used to craft a specific item that has its own advantages or something like that. Yeah, Honey Buns is saying weight is a good factor to include in storage, but to make sure that artisans are not impacted too negatively. Yeah, I think, for example, artisans might have a higher set or something like that. That's a good point. We'd have to think about it. Duyo Kieras, will there be castle gear? Yeah, I just talked about it a few minutes ago. Definitely love castle gear, but I think they need more of a purpose. Right? It needs to be something maybe stronger or faster. You need a reason to use a castle gear, I think, besides just showing it off. Dude, it's Dino, you'd buy a rose hoodie. Yeah, I would love a rose hoodie too. I actually need a new hoodie. That's perfect. Maybe we'll start with hoodies. How's the ping going to be for EU players? So I mentioned it in the last stream that the servers will be hosted in the US. We have, a lot of, actually most of our dev team is European, so we're like aware of latency and that sort of thing. But for the actual release, we'll have relay servers, because I know people's home connections might not be that fast, but you would connect to like a endpoint in, for example, in Europe, and then on the back end, it would relay to the US server. So we plan to address that, but not for the alpha, maybe even not for the beta. Just whenever time. Yeah, Jem is asking about expansion slots or that sort of thing for the inventory. I do agree. When I play, I do feel that my inventory fills up quickly. And so I think it would be cool to have some kind of like bag system, right? Like if you're wearing a bag, then it could give you some more slots or something like that. Might also just consider expanding the slots. One thing we talked about on the team was removing the distinction between the categories. So you actually have it's like 30 of each category. So there's actually 90 slots, but you end up having a lot more material than consumables or equipment and stuff like that. So being able to use it how you want, rather than, oh, I have 30 for this, 30 for this, but having all 90 available for everything was something we discussed. But we haven't really dug too deeply in. Vinyl is asking if there's going to be expansions. Definitely. We plan to finish all the maps. Or all the sorry, not all the maps, all the worlds. Yeah, the current logo that we're working on is still in progress, but it's inspired by. So the NA one is inspired by the original Triggersoft one, and ours will be inspired by both. So it'll still have the familiar look, just some stylistic changes. We're iterating on it right now, so it'll take a little bit of time before we can show something. Dahem is asking if we had any more internal discussions on refining. We have not. It's something we're kind of postponing until we get the alpha testers in. I think that one just needs more input from a bigger group of people rather than just the dev team. Do we still want cleric buffs to benefit from charm? Personally, no, but I think that's again another thing that alpha testing can reveal. So, or whether that we want to keep it or change it back. Oh, I'm a little behind. I'm sorry, I missed some questions. Would quest rewards stay the same or change for more quality items? I haven't really noticed anything dramatic with the quest rewards. I know there's some more important quests like the episode quests and things like that, but we honestly haven't started looking at quests. There's still some like core stuff I think we're working on right now. All Zoom's asking, did we ask Twitch to bring it back? bring back the Rose title on Twitch. I've updated the IGDB. I've asked them to bring it back. Still waiting them to update it. I don't know if you guys noticed, probably did, that I've been just using another game to stream under because it forces me to pick something. But hopefully they'll bring it back. They'll listen to my request. EKR is asking, has there been any discussion about unique weapons like Shining Finger, Faust, and stuff like that? Or Faust? I agree. I like those items. They're so I guess technically this is a unique item. Doesn't have any requirements. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to bring those back. I think especially now that we have the level 100 cap, and you know those items didn't have a level requirement; they just had a stat requirement. I think it could be interesting. Bring them back, because then they might actually be useful. In the past, unique items became kind of a little redundant or just useless after you got enough. Until you got high enough and the higher level weapons were stronger. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can find these windmill locations. Assuming they're up on a hill. I think there was even an effect that tells you where. I remember now. Alright, let me scroll in the chat here. Yeah, Snoo for inventory space. Yeah, it feels like it runs out fast, so we want to address that. We don't really have a solution for it yet, but I think fixing the drop tables will be the first start, right? If you're in one zone, like look, there's just so much variety here. Devil feathers, like where's this coming from? You know, like I didn't kill anything that had feather, right? It just doesn't make sense. I get why they did it, but I don't necessarily agree. Let me keep looking for some of these. I think there's supposed to be like a sparkling effect, right? Saying to step on it or something. Knailu, sorry if I butchered your name. Are we planning to work on Rose Online 2? I don't think we'd ever do a Rose Online 2. I think we would just evolve the game eventually into a Rose Online 2. So that means like upgrading or replacing. Oh, jeez. Wrecked me. Upgrading or replacing the engine, bringing it to more platforms, stuff like that. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, shoot me a message if you want. It's alright, don't speak Spanish, so I can't help you, or if it's Spanish. Yeah, dogs, I agree. It'd be nice for the unique items to still be useful at level 100. So, you know, I mentioned it in the past, but, you know, the main... Oh, okay. Found something. Looks kind of ugly, though. Alright, so... Maybe there's something up there. One wind turbine. Gotta keep looking. One of the big reasons we did the level change is that I think it'd be a lot better to have more diversity at a higher level rather than a level 100. Everyone's using the same weapon, using the same equipment. So factoring in unique weapons and things like that is gonna be, I think, cool. And don't forget that we have now, after level 100, there's a lot of items above level or higher than level 100 that we need to repurpose. So 2 characters at level 100 in our vision could have completely different armor, completely different weapons, but still be the same class. And, you know, each weapon, each armor will have different advantages, or, you know, maybe one has more defense, maybe one has more magic resistance, maybe one has like a good base stat or something like that. So just to encourage diversity in different items and going to different places to get different things to suit your playstyle. So I'm just coming up here to see if I can find another windmill thing. Hopefully they're all obvious because I am not very good at finding things. Doesn't look like there's anything up here. Alright, we'll keep looking. These dolpins are murdering me though. Rebus is asking a good question if we're drawing inspiration from other MMOs. I think it's not only other MMOs, just from like, I think the team's entire gaming experience, right? You can like pick up things from other games and be inspired for them. But I'm also, it's important, I think, that Rose is not other MMOs, and so we also don't want to copy and be like another MMO. Dudestino, yeah, we have a, oh, found another one, nice. Yeah, we do have an issue right now to improve the minimap. Usage or like usefulness is pretty limited, but we also want to add quest tracking so that you don't have to constantly do this, right? Like open this window or something. Found 2 of those. Might take me a little while. Kind of slowing down my leveling too, but maybe I'll that a little bit. 3 finished. Need to kill the big ones. 5 petals and 6 seeds. I lost track of the quest here. Sam, yeah, the Cleric is gonna change a little bit. So everyone, that's a very controversial class, so I'm even hesitant to kind of share what we're planning to change. I think Charm, we might revert that, go back to Int, honestly. Yeah, dogs, if we add the, if we have some kind of uniques, they will definitely be unique, as in very hard to get and very rare. Yeah, dog, was it you who recommended that in the Discord? Someone suggested that in the Discord, that we take the old high-level sets, like for example the Netherworld set or the Triggerman set, and then instead of making them available for both classes, we make it for one class. I think that's a really good idea, and that's a good way to make the diversity, right? Like a scout would have different armor than a raider, stuff like that. I've leveled. See if I can kill one of these. My kiwis. Marcin is asking, yeah, right here we already have some work for this, where you hover over the stat, it will tell you what each stat does. It's not finished yet, but we've already started that. Just because as a beginner, like, you don't know what to assign, what to do. Monkey QQ, yeah, we plan to finish all the remaining planets. Right now we're focusing on just Junon, and we're trying to get things rolled out here, but eventually we will get to the other planets. We want, got to make the game fun, bring it back from the dead, and then we can worry about new things like new planets. Hi Zar. So yeah, you say you haven't played this game before. Yeah, right now the only way, if you haven't played this game before, to know where to go and where's a good place to level is to follow the quests, right? Usually the quests will send you to a new zone that's good for your level. But beyond that, it's hard to know where to go and what to do. And that's something that we want to think about improving and fixing, the new player experience. But that's something I think input and insight from the community is going to be good. And so we have some ideas, but that's where, even if players are motivated and help us put together some even I remember in the past it'd be like wikis and things like that. Those are always helpful, but things that we can integrate in the game would be great too. Hold on. Got a level 38 item. Yeah, see, the drop tables are just so odd. Could wear that. Needs to be repaired. Yeah, that count bound items are also really annoying. Like the whole drop tables and item stuff needs to. But yeah, Zyre, so in-game ways to identify where to go and things like that. Also, we also don't want to make it too boring where you just follow an arrow and things like that. There has to be some level of exploration and, you know, player initiative, so that's also important to keep that in mind. Need one more petal, one more seed. EKR is asking Ghost question about skill and stat resets. I personally don't believe in punishing players. Like if you play the game for a while and you realize you made a mistake in your stats, made a mistake in your skills, like I think you should be able to change up your character. The trick is how do we make that prevent that from being abused. So we don't have a solution right now, but I think we'd be open to, you know, players as their insights about what would be reasonable. The biggest thing I've heard is that, you know, players will set their stats and then go fight someone and then go reset and go fight someone, or change their skills and stats just for a dungeon. When they come back, reset it. So we want to prevent that kind of thing. Rebus is asking what's my background. I actually personally haven't played that many MMOs. Played WoW till like level 15 maybe. Tried to play Guild Wars. Actually, I've played more of other genre games, but on our team, you know, we have some Final Fantasy players, some Ultima Online players, Guild Wars 2. So like we have other people on the team besides me. I mostly played FPSs. I played League of Legends a lot. Played a lot of Minecraft. That was a good one. So. Alpha test till in December. That's the goal. Obviously, when I say timelines and things like that, it all depends on if we can get the work done in the time that we've set up for ourselves. I think we should be able to get to alpha. It just might not be, we might not have everything in place for the alpha that we want, like the changes that we want, but we can at least get the server up and things like that. Need red flame. I can't get this 6. I'm gonna go sell some items. Maybe repair this helmet and appraise it. The question is, are we gonna have dungeon sets, and are there gonna be instances? Yeah, we plan to still have those things. There's existing game arena items, or systems and things like that. The one thing that I think we're probably gonna do is get rid of the Valor and Honor system, probably. I mean, the first thing we're gonna do is get rid of those shops because they're OP. The stuff they have in there is ridiculous. And we'll probably take a look at those items and take a look at how we can either remove them or rebalance them. But I don't know what that means for us in what we're gonna do with Valor and Honor. I think one thing I would like to see come back is the unions. That's kind of a core part of the Rose lore, and so maybe replace that with unions. So that's a little bit beyond our current timeline. I thought this guy would help me repair this, but it's not. For those that missed it, this is the new shift feature we were talking about. Instead of dragging and having to hit max and doing that over and over, you can hold shift and sell big stacks at once. Makes it a lot easier to dump your inventory. I'll sell these items too. Actually, not this. I thought this guy. Oh, maybe I'll just buy a hammer. Round. Let's hammer my hat. Nice. Now, I don't think I can. Usually it'd be like the. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone here that can appraise my item. No. I'll be in Zant again. Alright. I want to finish one of these quests at least. So this one I need one more seed and one more leaf. Head back to where I was. Dudistine, I think I answered the question about resetting skills and stats. I think we want to support it. I can't tell you how we're going to implement it yet. I mean, I think it's kind of silly if you mess up your build or your stats, you have to create a new character. That's kind of sucky. Minubi, if you are joining late, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream what we've been working on, but basically it's mostly been backend things to get the alpha going. So server management things, tools. Garnet and Linux have been deep in the tools, stuff like that. So nothing visual besides that feature that I just showed, which is the quick sell feature when you hold shift. Garnet is not available today. Wasn't able to join. Yeah, Diehem is asking, were artisans dependent on others? I'm not sure how dependent they were. I've played a little bit of dealer and I definitely feel like you can level on your own. It's a little bit slower. I think with the new level ranges and the new stat increases, it's a lot more practical to solo. So I could see people leveling RDs on their own without having to. Okay, nice. Got the windmill plans. Which was that's why we wanted to do it. In the past you'd get all these boosters and things that made it a different leveling experience. So we don't want to support any of that PTP stuff. Lasowski multi-client will be allowed, but we're going to restrict it to 2 clients. Yeah, Shido, I think I agree with you. Exploration, we want to support exploration. Nice. Bunch of experience. I get that quest again. I don't want to do the quest again, so that's repeatable, but I don't need it. Alright, got some money, got some XP. I was saying I agree, exploration is cool. And so one thing I think we'd love to support, but that's way down the timeline, would be dynamic spawns on the map. So you could come through a map and you see one set of mobs in an area and then you come back and then it's different, still in your level range or things like that, so that if you feel like exploring, you might find like, oh, okay, there's like today there's some interesting mobs here that I can kill or something, right? I think that'd be interesting, but that's definitely just an idea. Lasowski, we're gonna block you from starting 2 clients. If you work around it, we'll detect it on the server. Yoshi's asking if the level cap is going to be 100. Will higher grade gems be available? We don't plan to change the gem tiers. I know they bumped them up to grade 10s. I think that's okay. But that's one thing I want to test with alpha testers. One thing that, you know, the team, it's harder for us to test on our own is equipment combinations and maxed out gear and that sort of thing. So if gem 10 at level 100 really is just like a ridiculous advantage, we might prevent it from going to 10. That requires testing. Yeah, honey buns, that's a really good point. When I say we want to rework the drop tables, that also means we want to look at the craft tables, because I think they go hand in hand, right? Where you're leveling, that's where I have to say Iros did a better job. You know, the drops that you got while you were leveling in Iros zones, you could use to craft items for your level, right? So we want to keep that spirit, and so when we redo the drop tables, it's going to be within keeping in mind, like, well, what are the items you can get at those levels and what can you craft and things like that. And so I'm hoping that our alpha testers would be able to really give us some like help on that front, because that's figure out all the like the crafts and things like that, or and whether, you know, items have good craft formulas and things like that. That's a little tricky. Yeah, talking about the respecking. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I don't know if we want to put respecking behind a paywall. I don't want people to have to pay for an advantage. I'm really against pay to win. You know, games should be fun. Dihem is asking if we can have dual specking, that you can switch between preset builds. I don't think we'd add something like that. That's not really Yeah, honey buns. It's a good point that the nice thing about Valor and Honor was that one you can get from PvE and one you can get from PvP. I think the idea would be for unions, you would have, you know, you would be in your union and you can get union points doing PvE things or PvP things. So I do definitely not. We definitely don't want to limit it to PvPers. I can't tell how far behind I am in the chat, but I'm gonna keep scrolling here. Yeah, unique drops I think would be cool. We want to reward people who are willing to farm and, you know, invest in grinding out an item. Finkster, I think you can already organize items in storage. Yeah, you already can. If we make it unlimited slots based on weight, I'm not sure how we'd handle reorganizing. It might be auto-organizing point. I'm not sure how that would work. I'm not sure if people would like that, but on a technical level, I'm trying to think how that would work. It's just going through the chat here. Sorry, Zero Poke, but yeah, we will be limiting it to 2 clients. If you missed our previous talks, our goal is to make it so that you don't need a cleric. You won't need a cleric, right? The cleric shouldn't give you an advantage. It should just make it easy. You know, if that makes sense. So, one thing we're probably going to do, I'm hesitating to say this because it's so controversial, that class, but one thing we're very likely going to do is remove the offensive buffs for cleric. So clerics, you know, have party buffs and they have attack speed buffs and stuff like that. We're probably going to remove the ones that give you an offensive advantage, but keep all the defensive ones, so that, you know, being with a cleric is still an advantage. You get HP boost, you get dodge rate up, you get all these things, but you won't get like attack speed up and stuff. But yeah, so my point with bringing that up is you won't need a buffer to level with you. But until we figure out a vending solution, you probably would need a second character to vend on, unless you are willing to vend while you're not playing. Dude, Stino is asking about flying mounts. So Rose on a technical level doesn't actually support moving in the Z axis, so like moving up and down. If you see something moving up and down, it's just kind of an illusion. So to have true proper flying mounts, I think won't be for a while, maybe until we swap the engine. Sorry, Mr. Burns, the 2 clients is non-negotiable. We're going to restrict it to 2. Every BB, no, we will allow dual clienting, so only 2 clients. Thanks, Dahim. Yeah, I enjoyed interacting with the community too. I'm actually really excited to start alpha because I think it would be fun to include more I'm excited to include more people in the game development process. So like, I know there's a lot of cool people in the community, and I'm looking forward to working closely more. Yeah, Shudor, that's a good point. Actually, the code has support for dynamic spawns, so it was an idea that I think were working on. I'm not sure they ever saw it fully manifest. So me newbie's asking about the alpha tester application. It's actually ready. We just need to do another pass, make sure we thought about all the questions we want to ask. So in the next few days, most likely, we'll blast it out. We have to make the announcement and stuff like that. So this week it'll be out. Eight players in a party. Yeah, so I think I don't see any downsides to making the party size bigger. You know, if you have a lot of friends, why should you be punished? I think in the past there was hesitancy to increase the party cap because, well, you could just have 8 clients open and you'd be getting all the advantage, you know? So since we're going to be limiting it to 2 clients, I would be okay with increasing the party cap. I still like the idea of like leveling the party. I think I want to make it a little bit easier to level the party or something, but we haven't really thought too much about. Thanks for the port, Lasowski. I'm glad you're excited. We're trying to work as fast as we can so we can get people playing. I knew if I said something, I would it would backfire. Yeah, getting some recommendations about not doing the cleric changes I was talking about. I'm just going through, seeing all the arguments before I make more comments. Yeah. No, so okay. I mean, I'll address the comments about cleric. The point is not to nerf cleric, it's to just take away the offensive buffs, and, you know, it would still be useful. right? Like we might even make the defensive buff stronger. So I know it's like that's like a core Rose thing. It's going to be controversial, and we'll try. We're going to remove the offensive buffs. Our alpha testers will test it out, and they'll give us feedback. And if it's really terrible, we'll undo that change, right? But I think Rose needs a little bit of innovation right now. We have to kind of try these things, and just because our idea sounds good doesn't mean it feels good when we play. So if it's not good, we will reverse it. But I think I would ask people to have an open mind, and we'll see how it goes. Dudestino, yeah, anybody can apply to the alpha from anywhere. The only restriction is you have to be an adult, so 18 or older, just for our legal reasons. We can't accept minors into the alpha. Yeah, and it's going to be any time zone, any country. We have a few requirements. You'll see it on the application, but it's pretty minimal. And then Ribus makes a good point. We will be picking people. It's not open. Just because you apply doesn't mean you'll get in. So I encourage everyone who's interested to apply. Well, people aren't happy about the cleric stuff, but I don't think make everybody happy. Yeah, and don't forget we've rescaled the game, and like, look, I haven't been playing with buffs at all, and it hasn't really changed my experience. So that's the idea, right? We want to make the game so you don't need a cleric, but don't forget clerics are very important, especially when you're fighting bosses. Those heals are incredibly important. So for me, you know, I think a cleric should be an active class that someone plays. You should main cleric. A cleric shouldn't be a buff slave that everybody has as a second window open or something like that, right? So, you know, people, you might read it as we're nerfing the cleric class. Actually, in my mind, we're elevating it, right? We're making it an active class that you can turn this question, that you can play, that you have to heal, and you have support skills, right? But you have to be active on it. It's not a buff slave that sits in the corner. Vinyl is asking, how many players do you anticipate reaching when the game launches? Will the game be able to reach old faithful players? I'm not sure, and that's one thing I'm gonna ask the community for help for once we get going, right? If there's anybody out there who wants to stream or wants to you know, do their own videos or that sort of thing, I think that sort of community building really helps, and would love to, you know, have people involved in those roles. Just so that you guys know, when we announce that Rose goes coming back on Facebook. Oh, big XP. Nice. We reached about 100,000 people. I think it was like 85,000. So there's people out there who know Rose who wouldn't mind playing Rose. And so I think we just have to make sure that the game is fun and makes sense in like a modern gaming environment. And that's what I'm hoping, that by doing these streams and communicating with people and working with the community, we can come up with a good game that we all like playing, right? We're all in it together. Yeah, thanks for the support, guys. I know some of these changes might be controversial, but we will experiment. We will try things. Okay, I'm going to somehow, you know, somehow I missed the episode quest, I think. One thing we wanted to talk, we were talking about in the team, was like being able to figure out which of these quests are more important and stuff like that. There's this little icon, but it doesn't really explain much. But I'm gonna go see if I can find the episode quest. Reba's asking if we make the cleric defensive buff stronger, won't they end up either being mandatory? And if you don't need those the buffs will be redundant. Yeah, I mean I don't want to like really. I don't know, right? So I guess the thing is like defensive buffs don't make it something mandatory. I think it just makes something easier, right? Like if you're fighting a king and it hits you less or hits you for less damage, you might just need to use less pots or you need to be healed less, right? Whereas if you attack it faster, you're just genuinely stronger than it, right? So that's the thought process. Whether that's right or not, I think testing will show that. Mr. Burns, yeah, key rebinding is pretty high on our list because I personally don't like the F keys for scaling. I'd rather use the number keys, stuff like that. So. Okay, nice. Okay, this is not. Where's the? Probably Lena. I don't remember where the episode. Alright, we can keep talking about the cleric. Yeah, meow winks. In PvP wars and dungeons, the cleric wasn't buff slave, but I think that's not necessarily true. But we can agree to disagree. I think most clerics in rows were buff slaves. Whether sometimes they weren't or not, I can agree with that. But I don't have it. Maybe it's up here. Great. Oh, that's great. Yopo Punch. No, you don't have to buy the skills. You just have to click the plus. And I probably should think about a new skill. Critical defense down. Do any damage? Nah, I'm gonna stick with passives. I'm lame like that. Yeah, PT. I think it'd be really exciting to include. No, Francis doesn't have quest. Alright, this is gonna bother me until I find. Maybe I never started the quest. I don't remember now. I thought it starts in Zant, but now it's not coming back to me. Yeah, Lost Children's Quest. I have it? No, but I don't know where to start. I thought it was Lena. We'll have to agree to disagree. Meowwinks. Meowwinks was saying that he believes or she believes that if cleric buffs will be gone, then PvP is basically screwed and boring. Well, we'll have to test and find out. Yeah, but PT McBee. I agree quests are important. The quest tool we have access to is okay, but it's not easy to kind of see all the quests. But I wanna take a look at all of them. There's actually a lot of new quests in Evo, but I want to take a look at them. Who starts the Lost Children? I don't know. 12th, 13th. We'll limit 2 clients. We'll figure out the details. Or I'll keep the details private about how we're going to restrict. Oh, the Devil Quest is... This is... Stolen Formula is the main one. Okay, so then let me kill some whoopies. I might have had this quest already. I was thinking that it was because of this icon, but Wasn't sure. Thanks for the support, Avery. Appreciate it. Oh, Rebus is saying that he was more commenting about my about increasing the power of the defensive buffs. Yeah, I didn't mean we would do that. I was just saying that we could if it necessary. EKR is saying one thing we could do for clerics, because no offensive buffs for a full support cleric, could have a self-offensive buff. Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of like we'll remove those skills and get the testers to play it and give us their feedback and say, hey, you know, without these skills it's fine. We partied, it was good, or oh, I was useless in the party, or something like that. I think the only way is to make the change and see how it is. And you know, we're set up in a way that if we make a change and we don't like it, it's easy to. I wouldn't be too worried. This is alpha. Things are going to change a lot. So I wouldn't stress too much about it, but I think the cleric does need to be addressed, so that's just yeah. Conversations going on in the chat. Don't need to comment on all of them. Alright, I'm losing, trying to catch up to the chat here. Yeah, one thing that came up in the Discord is that collecting player feedback on the Discord is not. I need to kill. It's not a very good medium to do that, and I agree. And so we have plans to set up a forum where we can, you know, people can have like longer forum discussions and share pictures, and it doesn't get drowned out in the noise of the Discord chat. All right, caught up on the chat. Let's see if this was West is stolen for. Seems it might be. Maybe my memory's not good. Yeah, the only reason I haven't set out the forum yet is just not having the time to do so. That's one thing that, you know, might start needing, you know, help from the community to like set up and manage a forum, put some moderators in there and things like that. So obviously the pool of alpha testers will get a formula here. The question is, adding new worlds will not increase the level cap every time we release the world. We don't plan for it to be that way, right? In our mind, a new world should be not necessarily a new zone just to grind levels, but get new items, get new experiences, or just new kind of new AI for type of mob or new quests, that sort of thing. We'd rather it be content driven rather than just like, oh, I'm going here because there's a new level cap and I need to get. Yeah, Vinal is making an interesting point about spreading out the buffs among each class. You know, that's a possibility. Right now, we're just planning to remove it from Cleric and see. Uh, PT McB, what do you mean volunteer applications? You mean outside of alpha testing? His question was, do we have a place for volunteer applications? Yeah, so one good thing about what Evo did, oh, I got quest item, nice, was that the cleric buffs were a percent, not a fixed number. Actually, that was probably smart. Avery BB. Yeah, I think PvP quests could be interesting. There was some discussion on the Discord about like kill leaderboards and things like that. I think that'd be really cool. You know, like if you killed. Oh yeah, now I gotta talk to Trite. I don't know. Uh-oh. Stream. The quality just dropped a little bit. Or it's my computer. I heard of Cornell certificate. Wait, Cornell's. Yeah, that's a good option. So I don't know if I mentioned it on the stream before, but the kind of the structure of how I plan for this to go in the future is that we would have the dev team and the Red Nim Games team, right? That's official staff that I have contracts with that work with me, you know, like and that they're like official contractors or employees of Red Nim Games. And then having kind of like another group, like a community-driven team. I mean, maybe there'll be like sub teams within the community team where like we might have like a moderator team, whatever team, that kind of thing. That's the ideal way I'd want to structure it. Right now we don't have. All our work is a little bit like technical to start building up that community team that I'm talking about. We don't have the game out, so there's not really a need for like in-game moderators or support or that sort of thing. So that team will grow organically over time, but that's the idea. And so whenever we're ready to, like, whenever we need like a specific function, I think I would like, yeah, make an announcement. Probably wouldn't make an announcement on all the social media. Here, but just like in the Discord channel or something, like, hey, we're looking for a XYZ and talk with some people. Yeah, 12th, 13th, that's a thing we've been talking about on the team. We think the AI in Rose is really could use with some creative juices. And then those are really good suggestions, right? Like a taunt boss or a healing boss or something. I think there's opportunity there for more advanced AI mechanics. I think that could make that would be something that, for example, when we release a new map on a new planet or a new planet, I think that would be cool if like that was one of the selling points, right? That the new boss on that world has some new mechanics, so that you would go not only because it was new, but because it was a different experience, it was more fun or something like that. Yeah, PT McB. I think that's one area that would be really cool is if we had like a story team, a team that would help figure out like the existing story and come up with new narratives and things like that. That I think that'd be really cool if that was community driven. Like I'm able to go and hire a writer and things like that, but I think it'd be cool to have the community involved. There's really some interesting people in our community, very clever and that sort of thing, and so no reason why we can't all work on the game that we love, right? Yep, on the forum could have a story section. I think what would be cool, I mentioned before, like having users be able to make their own UIs would be awesome. And if people want to make, you know, I was talking to someone and they had designed a bow that made it into the game or something like that. You know, even content like that, or if someone wants to make an NPC, you know, I think that'd be really fun. People want to participate in that way, right? Make an NPC that looks like you, and if it's good enough, you know, we can incorporate it somewhere. All right. Right there. But yeah, I've been doing a little bit more questing, but I think you can see that the leveling slowed down a little bit, which is a good sign. I think it was a little too fast before, but it's still a bit fast. Like I'm almost at 30. I haven't been hardcore grinding. But the main thing I'm happy with is that I don't feel weak when I'm leveling. Right, I can solo. I can use pots from an event NPC that I can buy, and it wasn't expensive. That's the main thing. Right. I don't think this is the main quest, because I think I get a backpack from it. We will see. Yeah, we have a issue. It was like one of the first issues we added on our board. Our issue tracking board was quest tracking, but the rose code is very old and not very good, so it's hard to even add simple things like that without a good amount of work. But it's really more just because we've been focusing on backend things for the alpha. So we will get to these things, not to worry. I don't know what you mean by a damage meter for parties. I think parties could be made more fun. They're a little bit... doing? Oh yeah, I was going to find some dalpings. Can I even handle them? I should be able to handle them. So a damage meter is a table that keeps count of all the damage that was dealt. Yeah, I mean, keeping some stats would be cool. Then you can shame the Cleric for not doing enough damage, or the Artie, right? Yeah, I think it'd be cool to add stuff like that. I think before we did it at a party level, I think we would probably want to do it at a... Oh, I should... Would it be cool to do it at a PvP level, like global stat? I have to kill... spawn for it. Okay. Find a better spawn on here. Is boss still last hit or group damage? I don't know. I don't know what's a better system. Last hit feels a little cheesy. Like if you do 100% or 99% of the damage and the person gets the last hit, they can take the drop. It does feel a little weak, but I'm gonna... Come on. Please, come on. He saved me. I think last hit can be pretty annoying, especially if you're like me and you're not very quick. But that's something I'd want to ask players more, who are like playing more actively. I think they'd have better insights. Yeah, Reba. See, I think we're more likely to do something like that rather than build an interface and have all the stuff. We would do make it so that a mod can be created by a user. I think being able to support modding would be really cool. I've seen other users. How many do I need? You know, there's some clever people in the community. I've seen people who've done just like graphical mods. I don't know if anyone had this or saw this one, but like Desert of the Dead is so sandy and bright. I remember a long time ago someone made a mob that changed it to grass. Like, I don't see any problem if a player wants to, you know, make Desert of the Dead be all grass instead of sand on their client. You know, as long as people aren't walking through walls and stuff. I'm okay with modding as long as it doesn't give you like an advantage. Will auto loot be a thing? Probably not. Probably not, but things can always change. Is the sit speed bug still in the game? I think it is. We can test it out in a second. Yeah, Jam. So one thing, you know, obviously, I think it'd be nice to have a community event team. So could do like weekly events or things like that. I think that would be really cool. As I said, we want to build up that team, but right now we don't have things in place, so it doesn't really make sense to have a big in-game event team when the game's not out, right? Let's try the speed bug. Or was it sit? It was like sit, and then you tab as you get up. I don't remember anymore what the bug was. I think it's still there though. Yeah, so Rebus, that's the problem with modding is people can abuse it, so we would have to figure out how to prevent. It's impossible to prevent 100% numbers of abuses, so we'll have to like try our best. Okay, let's pump up my passive. I'm not getting anything for. Oh, I should have read the quest. I gotta go talk to Bells. Been here killing Dalpings for no reason. Avery BB, I don't know what you mean by flag up for PvP. You'd have to explain that a little. Yeah, me newbie, I do think the leveling rate is a little bit high right now. I do have the premium account modifier, which is giving me an XP bonus. But probably would half XP rate based on what it is now. But that's the kind of thing I would ask alpha testers, be like, okay, start at level 1, get to level 50. How long did it take you? Just jot it down kind of thing, you know? Because I might level slower or faster than average person, so. Thanks, shoe home. People are just passionate. I get it. $10. Now I can go. No, I agree. It might be a little too fast. I mean, it's been an hour and a half today. It was an hour and a half last time. So 3 hours to get to level 30. It's not, you know, it might not be that slow. If it's really slows down from here, it took us an hour and a half to go from 25 to 30 versus an hour and a half to go from 1 to 25. So if that formula still holds, we'll see how it feels to go to, well, 50 for now and eventually 100. That's going to be the real tell. How fast will we get to 50? Right? Because if it slows down even more, it could be the whole thing. Oh, excuse me. Should have muted the mic, but I was too lazy. Right. I don't think, yeah, okay, so flag off means you can enter a zone and say I'm PvPable or not PvPable. I think more likely just to have PvP zones. So for, yeah, Desert of the Dead was mentioned, yeah, so it would stay PvP, right? And, you know, I think PvP should have some, PvP zones should have some kind of reward for taking that risk, but I don't want to punish people who don't PvP either. So, you know, maybe there's like some special material that drops there faster or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out as a community, I think. Yeah, I think the speed so far is okay. It's a lot faster because I have the XP boost on. Probably should have turned it off, but as I said, it's like written into the code. Just it's a bit sad, but there's a lot of pay to play stuff written into the code. Like, so to remove it, we actually have to edit code and. Meow Wings, we probably won't do kind of polling like you're saying there. We would just, it'd be more organic feedback and changes and things like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think if we're gonna do any kind of PvP stuff, that's gonna be down the line. Maybe a PvP channel like someone recommended or things like that. But for now, it's gonna stay the way it is. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why we're having the alpha to test, you know, like leveling rate, and maybe it's too fast in a party, right? Like, but I'm playing solo, exactly. So there's a lot of different variations that I can't possibly test on my own, and then even with the team, you know, maybe it's faster with a cleric, or maybe a scout is faster because you can shoot from far away. I don't know. I have to test. That's what testing's for. MBS, the multi-climbing block won't be IP based, so you can play in the same house. You know, shouldn't be a problem. If you have 10 people in your house at a LAN party, you can all play. Not gonna be. Yeah, exactly, dogs, right? Like, if you have some special feathers that drop in Desert of the Dead for an item that can be crafted, something like that, right? You know, like in Luna Clanfield, like Astronaut Wing is dropped from there, you know, stuff like that. Six. I need 4 more. Yeah, I know people also, like, the big problem with doing IP restriction is, like, sometimes share an IP with people, or stuff like that. So that's not really a good technical way. Someone mentioned before that will it be MAC address based? It would probably be hardware IP based. Just a technical detail. Okay. So we're coming up on an hour and a half. I'm going to try to finish up this quest. And then we'll wrap it up here. And so the big update this week is the alpha application will probably go out this week. As I said, we'll keep it open for a couple of weeks just to give people time to review it, to fill it out. Not everyone might, won't see it the first day it drops, so give time for people to like find out about it. And then once the applications are done, we'll just need a little bit of time to review it. And then we'll set up the alpha test server and let on those alpha testers on there. Kick that off. So, as I said, right now, between streams, you might not see a lot of changes in the game just because we're working on backend stuff to get us to alpha. And then during the alpha, probably a lot more gameplay changes. It's changing like drops and items and things like that. So that's the kind of thing that we want people involved when we start heavily changing those things. Dog Specky, yeah, I think you can kind of do it right now. You press Alt and then Control. It'll show, yeah, if you press Alt, hold Alt and then press Control, it will keep the drop visible. But I think there's like no way to know that you can do that. So one, that should be rebindable, and two, we need a way for people to know what the binds are. PT McBee, that's a good question. So his question was, is there going to be a way to stop experience? So like prevent yourself from getting experience while killing something and leveling up. Right now, I actually saw that one of the NPCs actually sells an item consumable which lets you do that. It's an open discussion on the team right now, but I personally don't think that you should be able to stop your XP. The only reason that you would want to do that is if you want to stay in a certain zone and farm a certain item. But I can't think of a good reason why you'd want to do that. But I could be wrong. If we change the drop tables and, the only way you can get a certain item is to kill mobs in that one zone, then I could probably be convinced to keep it, right, for those who like to like collect every item or something like that. But on the other hand, I'm not sure. The answer to your question is I'm not sure, but it's an open discussion right now. Dogs is asking about Temple and B2 and things like that. Yeah, we don't know. Luna is really not on our plans right now. Once we redo Junon, which means it also includes like redoing clan fields, setting up some lower level dungeons and game arenas and things like that, then we'll start thinking about Luna. So like all the content that you're familiar with after Junon, just expect it won't be available for a little while until we get kind of things sorted out. Will player be able to see mob levels and HP like you currently can with a consumable? Yeah, it's a good question. I know it's a little deceiving because this is a debug client, so it shows me a little bit extra stuff. One thing I do think would be nice is that when you target a mob, it shows you the health bar up on your screen and maybe their level and stuff like that. Because right now, there's really not much you can tell about a mob just looking at it. Yeah. I think it's just gonna matter. The no XP thing, I think I'm agreeing with people are saying it's gonna depend on how the drop tables end. Yeah. Yeah. I see. I played a lot of Iros back in the day, and you would create like a level 88 Borg and farm Goblin Caves because it had a good uh, drop rate of refines and stuff like that. But to me, that just meant then why couldn't you get refines at a higher level, right? If they were needed by higher level players, stuff like that. So yeah, but then yeah, Snoofer makes a good point that like yeah, so it's just a question of like the drop tables. I think for now, I think who sells it? Kinu, I believe, sells it. I personally think that it's oh she no it's Charlene sells it. Um yeah, so you can buy this and turn off XP for 30 minutes, right? Like to me that just means that the drop tables are not set up correctly. If you have to farm like a level 1 mob for something, right? Like as I said, the only reason I can see it being useful is if, for example, you like this outfit and it requires some item drop from a level 10 monster that's not dropped later, and you want to craft it for a costume. I could see something like that being a reason, but for like materials you need and things like that, I'm not. That's a good idea. We'll see. It'll be a work in progress. Just turn in this quest. Oops. That see. Yeah, that wasn't. Well, it's still a mystery. All I got. Oh, hold on. Still going. Quest still going. Okay. I'm not sure this is the. Still not convinced that this is the main quest, but maybe I'm wrong. Man, I got a lot of drop. Money is pretty good, I gotta say. Current drop system with just selling the junk. 100,000 already. A gun is 8,000, right? Sort of. Like I can buy practically whatever I want from NPC. Good. Even jewelry is like portable. So it's like, see what I mean though? I think the drop tables need work. Like it's not, everything's not really in sync. I've been playing by myself, no other players, no shops to sell to, right? Doing quests, selling all my junk, 147,000. I can buy anything. Money's not really a problem. I can buy whatever pots I want. So it doesn't seem like, it seems like if I just play long enough, I'll just accumulate so much money that money won't even matter. And it only matters when buying things from a player. So that's one other thing, like fixing drops might mean like having to interact with people and sell them stuff and things. Anyway, going on a tangent. I think we had a good session today. Got 5 levels. Finished a couple quests. Doing the Spiro quest, but I still am not sure if that's actually the Lost Children's quest. But it has this planet indicator, so maybe. I don't remember having to finish this Lost Children. Other than that, thanks everybody for joining. Some good questions. I'm gonna jump right in the chat one last time. Make sure I answer everyone's final. Okay, yeah, there was someone. I'm gonna forget next time. I'm gonna quickly repair my weapon here. and then I'll sign off. Oh, you could repair the NPC. Take that out. Repair my. All right. Perfect. Appraisals, but I'll next time. All right. What was I saying? Yep. Signing off. I appreciate everybody joining. I think we had some good discussions. Talked about some good things. Alpha is heating up. You know, it's coming, getting closer. The applications will be out really soon. Excited to have people applying and wanting to play and join. And yeah, looking forward to it. So hope everyone enjoys the last day of November, and hope to see you guys in the Discord. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you later.